home, like E.T. home. In 62 or 3, we were in Fort Lauderdale for spring training with the Yankees. My mother had Cheryl and I and Rhonda in the Catholic school. I was 2nd grade. I didn't understand what purgatory was. I was a Methodist. It was good, you went to heaven. They told me I was going to purgatory. I said, so whenever I had a chance, I'd run. And these 3 nuns, whole guard, they're chasing me across the playground, and I grab the fence. They pry my fingers out, take me to the principal. Like in The Sound of Music, she was, we called her Sister Leadbottom, but anyway. I'm sitting there in the principal's office, and she looked at me and she said, "Randy, when you die, don't you want to go to heaven?" And I said, "No, ma'am. I just want to go back to Walnut Ridge." My parents moved here in 52. Dad bought the dealership from O.D. Clayton. And they lived in Newport, 46 to 52, when we moved in the old house on 2nd Street. And bought it from Lester Hatcher. And Johnny was born in 50 in Boston, my older brother. He's 5.5 years older than me. Cheryl was born in Newport, 52. My Aunt Florence and Uncle Kendall. And then Rhonda and I, we were twins. We were born in 1956 in Paragould at the Methodist Hospital, and they brought us home to 2nd Street. And the experiences I had in Walnut Ridge was unbelievable. 67, Steve Cox was 9. I was 11. Gary Schrabel was 12, and Daniel Mullen was 13. And Jimmy Snap called me and said, "You won the region," you know. So Daniel and I and Gary, Lemoyne Mullen, Daniel, Jimmy Snap, Gary Schrabel, Bob Schrabel. Dad was gone out of town. We stopped at Shoney's in West Memphis. I remember Lemoyne Mullen said, you know why there's so many one-eyed Englishmen?" And I said, "No, Mr. Mullen, there's a glass of tea sitting there with a long teaspoon." And where he got that from, I don't know. I remember it like it was yesterday. But Daniel and Steve won. I was like Daniel in New Orleans. I shanked my punt. Gary and I ended up 2nd, so we had to come home, and then Daniel and Steve got to go on. But I want to mention Marvin Kennedy, Sharon Glenn's. Marvin Kennedy was a big influence. My 6th grade basketball coach, we were 32-1. Mike Bassett, Johnny Holder. I was all county in the 6th grade. My dad, all I heard was I was all county, senior in the band. So, my 9th grade year, we we're 2nd in the district, but we got to go to the state tournament in Greenbrier. We made it to the semifinals, played Greenbrier. They'd won the state championship 6 years in a row. We got beat by 1 point. And they called me out all state, 3rd, you know. And I always compared that to Dad's 1947 All-Star game. You know, the first year he was an all-star. That's the way he had to feel, coming from Havana, Arkansas, town of 300 people. But he never would talk about it, and I wondered why, and the reason was is he lost that game, the All-Star game. But he won 20 and 46, 21 and 47, hit 346. In 47, he went to Mr. Perini, the owner of the Braves, and said, if you don't pay me $30,000, I'm walking out. He's only making 12 or 13. So Mr. Perini said, I can't pay you 30, John, but I'll pay you 28 and give you 1,000 for every game over 20 you win the next year. That would have been 48. The next year he won 24 games, beat Bob Feller 1-0 at Braves Field in Boston. That was 25 games. They had to pay him $33,000. And but they and then 49 he didn't win 20, and 50 he won 20, and then he got traded to the Yankees in 51 for Lou Burdett. You know, Lou Burdett's Hall of Famer, but Dad only had 139 wins. The only people in the starting pitcher in the Baseball Hall of Fame that won under 200 games is Sandy Koufax. So this means the world to me. I just can't believe that Daniel Mullen, the best athlete from Orange County, pound for pound, I don't care. You take everybody, and if I had a team, he's my first pick, Daniel Mullen. He did the little things well. Steve Cox did the little things well. Johnny Sain did the little things well. He could field his position. He led the league in sacrifice bunts. And he struck out 20 times in 11 years, 1,700 at bats. They don't keep strikeout to at bat ratio, but that's phenomenal. A friend of mine, Jeff Taylor, said, well, what did he do the rest of the time? Well, he's making contact, you know. But Marvin Kennedy, he was my coach in the 6th grade, 32-1. He's my football coach in junior high. Billy Hughes was our coach in the 9th grade. And then my senior year in 74, we won the district tournament in Lepanto, beat Rector, the 5th ranked team in the state, by 20 points. I couldn't miss it. First one down, went down the baseline, jumped up, shot it, couldn't see the basket, went over the backboard, dropped, boom, you know. Coach Kennedy called timeout. He knew you know. But Marvin Kennedy and W.R. Glenn, Bill Hughes, Paul Stovall, there's so many people that I can't even name them all, but I've been up here too long, and I'm, like I told Daniel, I'm not an orator. But I want to thank the people of Walnut Ridge and Lawrence County from the bottom of my heart for giving my family a home for 20 years and being able to grow up here and be Randy Sain, Johnny Sain's son. One more thing. 02. August 13th of 02, which is my oldest son Chris Sain's birthday, I flew to Atlanta to Turner Field. Never been to Turner Field. I'd been to the Fulton County Stadium. But I got a check that morning from my mother's teacher retirement for $1,700, and I drove to Memphis, jumped on a plane, went to Hartsfield, got on a train, went through, came out in front of Coca-Cola headquarters, got on a bus, went to Turner Field, and I walk into the office. I said, they're inducting my dad, Johnny Sain, in the Braves Hall of Fame, and I'm his son. I want to go to the they looked at me, they couldn't believe it. They said, "You got a driver's license." And I pulled it out, Walnut Ridge, so I sat beside Javi Lopez was a catcher, and Chipper Jones in the dugout. Ted Turner was there. Ted Turner employed my dad from 1976 to 88. Dad's career went from 1936, his first game was he pitched for Osceola and Blythe, where my two nephews, Robbie and Wesley, I watched them play in the same stadium. And my life has been a storybook, just like Steve Cox. It's just, and to come from Walnut Ridge and to be acknowledged, it means the world to me. And but in Atlanta, after the game, I brought a Chipper Jones jersey back to Gina Rorich. And on the way back, I thought, that's the last time I'll get to be Johnny Sain's son. But I'm Johnny Sain's son now.